What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I am Wingman Steve.
And I'm Chris 183.
Here we are. It's Old School January. High School Never Ends goes old school, where we talk about old school punk rock that may have been over our heads. And Chris, I don't know if this one was over your head or over my head. I guess we're going to figure it out. But what are we talking about this week?
We're not talking about falling off just any wagon this week, Steve. Good, I got that in. I had to get that in.
I was going to let you finish the thought.
I had to finish to that thought. I didn't think beyond that. But no, we're going to talk about an album that's going to help us talk about our feelings, Steve. But the album itself is Let's Talk About Feelings. And the band is Lagwagon. Steve, what do we know about Lagwagon here on the show?
Not a whole lot. Again, they fall into this category that we're covering this month of, old school, more punk than pop punk, but maybe some pop punk. I guess we'll get into that conversation. I definitely think I caught them at a Warped Tour here and there, but I never really saw them live. But they're one of these bands that, again, kind of seems like one of those bands, like Lagwagon influenced a lot of the bands that we might like. What do you think about Lagwagon? Do you know anything about them?
I don't, but I do know what you're saying is true. We've talked to people on this show. We've had interviews. They've brought up this band, and even some of our special guest stars that aren't in bands that we talk to. They brought up this band as being very influential to them getting into this genre of music. The thing I want to kind of go back to is the fact that, and I don't have the beginning date for Lagwagon, but the album we're going to talk about today, Let's Talk About Feelings, this was late 90s. I know they had several albums before this, and I'm sure you'll get into that.
I have the beginning dates.
Well, I mean, I just coined that phrase, the beginning dates.
I like that.
Put that on a shirt.
Yep.
Listen, there's a lot of bands that we really like that were in this time frame too. So they definitely weren't necessarily any type of, I guess, inspiration for bands that come out at the same time. Maybe for bands that come out maybe mid 2000s. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's all relative, Steve. If a band comes out in the early 90s, would a band in the early 2000s say that they were an influence? I guess. It depends on the album. You could just be
influenced by your peers. I mean, if you think about it, so these guys, their beginning date was they formed in 1990. They're from Goleta, California, right outside Santa Barbara. But their first album didn't come out until 1992. So you kind of think about all right, Blink-182 was formed in 1992. So they kind of basically got started around the same time. So could they have been influences for one another? I don't know. But they did get started around the same time.
It's, listen to the two bands, it's different in a lot of ways, but it's similar in approach in terms of maybe tempo sometimes. But I see what you're saying. It's pop punk for sure. Especially this album specifically. I don't know if that's your opinion too, but it definitely is mine. I wanted to mention that I've always wanted to go to Santa Barbara, by the way.
Yeah?
I don't know why. It just sounds like a place that I need to visit for some reason.
I mean, you were a few hours away from there when we met up in Southern California, but I don't think I've ever been to Santa Barbara either.
Doesn't it feel like a place like Santa Barbara reminds you of 1987?
The Santa Barbara remind me of 1987.
Like that era.
You mean no, I don't think so. I don't think I have that association. Maybe I think of it as when was the end of Mad Men? That was still the 50s? 70s, right?
70s? I don't know. I didn't watch
the end of Mad Men. There was a bunch of seasons.
I didn't watch it.
Oh. At the end, wherever they were, I kind of there were some seasons where he goes out to California and actually, I kind of forget how it ends. But anyways, I'm not going to spoil it because I forget. But I don't know that I think of 87 when I think of Santa Barbara.
I do.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Fair enough. Well, this is also a little bit different for us because, all right, we're not going to compare the albums to what we've already done in High School Never Ends Goes Old School. But yes. So, all right, we did do The Descendants, and we did Milo Goes to College, their first ever album. Then we did Rancid Out Come the Wolves. And that was the first one a lot of people knew, but it was actually their third record. I don't exactly remember how we ended up on this one, but Let's Talk About Feelings is Lagwagon's fifth album. So they've been out now for a good amount of time. So we're doing an album now that, I don't know, would you call it they've hit their stride, they found out who they are, and this is kind of the one to judge?
Like, what's Blink's fifth album? Is that self-titled?
It depends where you're starting. Are you starting at Buddha? Or are you starting before that?
Did we start at Buddha when we think about this?
I would probably. I mean, so I don't know exact their 1992 album, Lagwagons. Duh, I don't know exactly what that was. Right? Is that closer to a Buddha, or is that like a Fly Swatter, like a demo? But if we're just gonna say maybe Buddha's one, so we got Buddha, Cheshire Cat, Dude Ranch, Enema of the State, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. So that would be number 5.
Okay, one of my, if not my favorite,
and
of
you would,
all the Blink albums,
without a doubt, that band had hit their stride, found out who they are. That doesn't mean that they're going to do the same thing over and over, but they've hit their stride. They have confidence. They've had some success. They know who they are, and hopefully that's, I guess, where we get Lagwagon here in 1998.
For sure. And I wonder if, at the time, since I was not part of their fandom in '98, I looked at other bands that were similar to them, but obviously a fan of pop punk in that time frame, amidst other music. I wonder, though, so not knowing if fans of this band from before feel the same way about them hitting their stride, if they picked up new and younger audiences as they moved through the 90s, because their albums did, potentially hit a stride, and they were part of Warped Tours. They got more visible. I wonder all those things. I don't know if we'll get those answers. But
I don't know that we're going to get those answers, but they did 5 albums in 6 years. So, I mean, they were pumping it out. And I mean, this is one of those bands that, so it was off my radar, right? I was not really like a Fat Records guy, but this is, No Effects and that kind of thing. I wasn't really a Fat Records guy. Maybe, I don't know if Fat Records has like a sound, but listening to this, I feel like it does. It kind of fits, because they were offered some major label deals, which they turned down. They put their stuff out on Fat Records. They stuck with this, up and coming, I don't know, indie label, if you will, and throughout their entire career. So I don't know. Does Fat Records have a sound to you? I feel like it kind of does.
Probably, but you're asking the wrong person, because I'm not necessarily any kind of expert on this label.
Be an expert.
I can't listen. How did you get into the bands that you like that you didn't know about in that time frame? What were the ways? Did you just happen to come across a CD at a store? You liked the cover of it and you decided to pick it up? I don't think so.
Maybe. I mean, there's lots of different reasons.
Referrals. That's a big one, right?
Yeah, referrals, whether it's a guy at the record store, or a friend, or an opening band at a concert, something like that.
Did you ever have anybody say to you, hey, you need to check out Lagwagon back then, or you need to check out No Effects?
No.
Nobody?
I feel like I kind of, well, No Effects, I think I had one No Effects record. It was the one where it was like 45 or 46 songs that didn't fit on other records, or I'm paraphrasing. That was something like that was the name of it. And I listened to it, and I've actually seen No Effects at some Warped Tours, and I don't know, it was just never, it was always like, less melodic, less poppy. And I was always more into the pop punk. So I didn't give Lagwagon, No Effects, I didn't give it a whole lot of space in my ears. And that's what January's about for us. Giving it space.
So then I wonder if, as we kind of talk about this album, if this particular album, maybe not Lagwagon as a whole, but this particular album follows that same path that you just talked about with your experiences with No Effects, maybe just that one album, with other bands that potentially are the same. Look, I looked up, I Googled bands that sound like Lagwagon, and I got No Effects, I got No Use for a Name, I got Good Riddance. Like, I know of the bands, I just don't know those bands. So
same, pretty much. So if you're a big fan of these bands, then you're going to have to listen to us bullshit for about an hour.
We will, but I think, initial thoughts on what we're hearing, I think that'll still be pretty interesting, especially because, for me, this was a really good, this was an experience for me. Like, being able to experience this band at this point in time in their careers, fifth album in, I think this was the best album for us to choose in a lot of different ways. We'll talk about why, but yeah, so 1998, it was a good year, Steve.
I did like the name of the previous album. It was called Double Platinum, and the cover. Actually, all their covers to their records are kind of fun and quirky. Did you look at those?
Haas. That's my favorite.
There was Haas, but I liked Double Platinum, and the cover is basically just like a plaid. They've gone to plaid.
I asked a friend of the show, if he is a fan of this band. And the reason why I bring him up is because he originally grew up in Southern California, close to a lot of the bands from that era that were popular there. I mean, Lagwagon was on Tony Hawk Pro Skater, so it's not like they weren't popular nationwide, but for whatever reason, they didn't permeate my brain. But for this guy, he was super into that California sound. And he says, yeah, absolutely. Loved Lagwagon, specifically the album Haas. Now, that's not what we're talking about today. But listen, this individual really gets into the poppy pop punk like you. So I got to believe that, the sound that we hear today definitely is held throughout, maybe a number of their other records. I don't know about all of them, but I would venture to guess a good majority of them for sure. No, and that's exciting. I like this kind of music.
I guess it's exciting, but I did not feel like this was particularly poppy pop punk at all. Wow, I feel like this is more punky pop punk.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I want to hear more because that's crazy to me.
I felt it was more punky.
Bananas.
Maybe it's just Joey Cape's vocals, the way that they sound. Maybe it's the way it was mixed. I don't know. I feel like everything on this record is that like double time, super fast. When you're talking about pop punk, I feel like there's got to be like mid tempo, maybe even slower tempo numbers, but not everything at that like double time, super fast. So that's what I got out of this record.
I look, but if you go back to an album like Dude Ranch, don't you feel like the majority of songs have that double time tempo to them?
I don't know. I think Dude Ranch is way more catchy and melodic. And Dude Ranch, we'll get into this, but I feel like Blink-182 knew how to structure a song. And I don't know if it's just like Lagwagon's thing not to structure their songs, or that's just a choice, but there's very little song structure, which means there's very little hooks and catchiness to me on this record.
And so I think from a different perspective, I tended to gravitate towards this. And I didn't mind that it was a little bit different in structure, that it was not historically what a song, quote unquote, is supposed to be with, verse, chorus, verse. I don't want to get too far in. I just want to talk about it. Let's just talk about it.
All right. Well, let's thank our patrons first. We got Sam, Tom, Punkish Dad's friend, Nick, Ashley, Punk Rock Mom, Jason, Chris W, and Jeff. And we'll get into this record, which was released on November 24th, right before Thanksgiving, I suppose. Could be on Thanksgiving. 1998 on Fat Records. It was got up to number 33 on the Billboard Heat Seekers charts. So it did chart a bit. And maybe the reason why we picked this one, again, I don't remember our full conversation, but Rolling Stone listed this album as the 42nd greatest pop punk album of all time. So it does have some national recognition from the Rolling Stone. Take that for what it is, and we can get into, let's talk about feelings. I don't talk about feelings a whole lot. Do you?
Let's talk about the cover of this album.
Yes, the cover is fantastic.
It is. It's basically just a female that has a word bubble that says, let's talk about feelings on, I forget, is it like a plaid or a color or something behind her?
It's a green, so it's a green background, and it just has the Lagwagon logo over and over and over in like a bluish purple. And yes, it's a female that looks, I don't know, high school, college-ish age. She's supposed to look, I guess, kind of nerdy. She's got kind of a collared shirt on top with a vest on top of it. And she's got what looks like some pigtail-ish, and she's got glasses. And yeah, it's just a bubble that says, let's talk about feelings. I think that's funny. And I think if you look through their catalog, these guys are probably funny dudes. I would gather.
Sure. And I wonder if this image was pulled from something else. This looks like Norman Rockwell-ish of some type, do you know what Norman Rockwell is?
I know of it. I don't know specifically his
Oh,
stuff.
I'm like an expert on Norman Rockwell.
Hmm. Go ahead, tell me.
I just it's really interesting. I can't. We're talking about an album here, Steve. I can't go into other stuff on this show. Tangents are no nos.
Uh, okay, I didn't know there were no nos, but sure, we can get into it.
Go check that out. Go check out Norman
Yeah,
Rockwell.
after you, my friend. After you.
Yeah. So, how does this album hit you as an individual? And I'm just saying that as hypothetically as I can, or
To the
as
kids.
just to the kids. Like, how does this album hit you? How do we feel about this first track? First tracks for us, for me, for Steve. It's a measuring stick. It kind of sets the mood. It tells us what we have to look forward to, and I think that from the onset, from the first time I turned this album on and somebody said, "Hey, High School Never Ends, guys, you should do Lagwagon." When we decided to do that and I turned on this first track, I knew right away that this was a band that I was going to be into. I think that they do a really great job with their melody arrangements. Like I was really into a lot of these melodies. I thought that they were catchy, and I think that this first song, in a lot of ways, it's not real light. It has a lot of like maybe fast-paced, heavier guitar riffs. Not heavier, heavier is a bad word, but or the wrong word. But they're not light and fluffy and bouncy in a lot of ways. It's more, riffy with that dirtier guitar sound, but I really dig that. And I really love the super fast tempo. I love energy. I love energy with the right melody. And this gives us both of those things. So that way that guitar riff hits you at the beginning, I think is amazing. And it comes back in the middle again. So they have an interlude that they interject some sort of a department store / elevator music, which is super funny too. Like, you think about that humorous aspect to the band that you just talked about, Steve. Like, I think they hit you with that right away. Like, what other albums have we heard department store music in the middle of a song
Not
for
many.
the first one? Not many, no. But this one, pleasantly melodic, the lyrical melody too, and this will permeate through multiple songs in this album. It really supports the musical accompaniment, in my opinion. Like, they work well together. And so, all of those things, the song has great energy. I thought it was a great starting point for this album, and I really enjoyed it.
What do you think about the vocals? Do you like Joey's vocals? Do
I
they
don't
sound
think
good
that
to you?
I think they do, and I don't think they overwhelm. Like, they're not vocals where you're like, wow, this guy's amazing. Like, his range, it just permeates your ears. Like, I think it supplements the song. Like, it's about the music and the vocals together that gives you the total package. So I'm okay with it. I don't need a memorable singer all the time. I just need a singer that would accompany the music that makes me feel something, and so I'm good with it. How
I
about you?
just I just wonder. I didn't love the vocals. I wonder if maybe it's the mix. I wonder if the vocals are just too loud over the music because I like the guitar throughout. I thought the music sounded really good. I thought it was a very cool vibe. So like before the double time kicked in, I enjoyed that. I don't dislike it when it gets super fast. It does have some kind of odd tempo shifts here and there. Again, there's no discernible structure. There's no like rhyming, so it is quite unique. I liked that elevator like hold music thing, and then it busts like right back into the song after the break. So I enjoyed the energy of it, but overall, I don't know. It didn't like grip me and pull me in and make me be like, okay, yeah, like let's fucking go. Like I don't know. I didn't get that vibe from it, and it's not that I thought the vocals were bad. But again, I think maybe it's how I was listening on Spotify. I don't know. It was remixed in 2011 and re-released, so maybe it's different than what it used to be. But from what I was listening, it maybe sounded like bring the vocals down a little bit and bring the guitars up. I don't know. It
I mean,
didn't
that
blow
was
me away.
remixed 15 years ago, so I mean, that was a long time.
It was, but it originally came out, what did we say, 1998? And then, so if you look on Spotify, like all their albums, almost all their albums were re-released with all these bonus tracks and stuff like that in 2011. So there's a lot more tracks. We're going to go through the regular album.
I don't know if the non-rhyming factor really bothers me either. Like, I think that the lyrics all fit together. They're on a cadence, and they're delivered in a way that I think it fits well. So I didn't necessarily see that as a downside like you did.
All right.
And I think maybe that's part of the reason why you feel the way you do from the onset is because it's not affecting me in the same way, but because I think a lot of these songs don't do that for sure.
Okay. Well, Gun in My Hand, Gun in Your Hand is the second track. Your, not mine. This one, I think the guitar really like leads this one throughout. I think I found this one more enjoyable than the first song, but again, like, I don't know. I want a proper chorus. Like, I feel like it lacks the chorus, the hook. There's nothing that, like, really grabs onto me. I love the fact that they put a sound clip from a movie. There's only like a handful of artists that I know that have done that stuff. Apparently the clip is from a movie called Swimming with Sharks with Kevin Spacey. I don't know that movie, but I do like it when movie clips appear in songs. So I think I like this one a little bit better than the first one. What'd you think?
Wow. Okay. I don't think I liked it better than the first one. I think that there was some fairly creative work between the verses with the guitar that really thought that stood out. I thought that the melody in this song, the guitar melody was outstanding. There's just so much, once again, so much energy with this one. It mixes a little bit harder, but that's okay. Like, I really thought that added to it with the riff itself, but it still holds that lighter pop punky sound to it. So you mix the two in, and I did mention too that the song ends with a speech, which was okay. I
The movie
take it or
clip.
leave it. It's interesting because you put the speech over the music. It's not just like they drop everything out and it's a movie quote. Other bands have done that. I think we've talked about that on this show with some other bands that have
Always reminds me of
had
the
songs.
Ataris. Yeah.
But I do like the music, with the movie quote. It works together well. So I thought honestly, like, I didn't think it was better than After You, My Friend, but I thought it was a nice bridge and a continuation of the enjoyability factor of the album for sure. And that'll bring us to the next song, Leave the Lights On. For this one, I think by now, like, we kind of understand what this band's going to bring to the table in a lot of ways. Leave the Lights On does more of that same thing. I think that this one's just a steady track. It brings you a steady dose of everything that we've kind of heard before in two songs, and potentially more if you've been a fan of this band before this album. They do mix in some really cool instrumental work over more spoken quotes in this one as well. So they continue that trend. And this one, so you talk about the singing. This one, I maybe wasn't as much of a fan of the vocals. I thought it was a little just didn't have as much to it, maybe a little flat in a lot of ways. So musically, I could get into this one, but I don't think it was the total package. It just was a song. So, Steve, what did you think?
I feel like maybe Joey's got a little bit of like a Tom DeLonge. He's not a traditional singer. He's got a little bit of that kind of twang. It's not that like nice harmony. It's got that pinch to it, and maybe kind of got to just get used to it a little bit. I think that fact actually shines a lot in this song. Super fast right from the get-go, but I really enjoyed the harmonies that they brought into here. There are there's a drastic shift in the tempo and a crazy guitar section. All these things within a minute 55 the song is. And there's two different sound clips in this one. There's one from Jacob's Ladder and there's one from Welcome to the Dollhouse. This is the one at the end where he says, Steve, like, you fucked up the audio or the singing, and that, like, our band is screwed or something like that, right?
What's that from? Which one?
I think that's from Welcome to the Dollhouse, which I believe I did see. Sounds familiar.
I didn't see that one.
I didn't see Jacob's Ladder.
Is that an 80s movie or a 90s movie?
It might be early 90s.
It sounds familiar. I'm
Welcome to
sure
the
there's people out
dollhouse.
there. I'm sure there's those people out there right now, and that's okay if you're one of those people saying, "Oh my God, you didn't see this movie.
Oh,
You got to
it was
see it."
95.
95. Okay, so
Yeah.
I was fully within my rights to see this movie in 95.
Yeah, you probably saw. I mean, I'm sure you recognize this like cover thing, right?
I
It's like a
don't.
teen coming of age type of deal.
I don't, but that's the girl from. It's not the. Who is that? Who's Heather Matarazzo?
Yeah, I
Is
don't know what else she
she?
was in.
No, I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm thinking of somebody else. No, I never saw that.
No, I think I saw that
Mm.
one. I didn't see Jacob's Ladder.
I saw Jawbreaker, the movie.
I think I saw that too.
That was Rose McGowan
Oh, was
in
it?
that one. Yeah. So, and that had a good soundtrack too, by the way. But yeah, so I really don't. Go ahead if you had another thought, but that's where I was at on this track.
Nope, that's it for me for Leave the Light On. I can move on to Change the Spare if you didn't, unless you
Go
have
ahead.
something else. Yeah.
You're good.
I got into this one actually a bit. This one's got a little star on it. I guess at this point in the record, and of course I've listened to this multiple times, but as I'm putting my notes together, I'm like, I guess at this point I just need to realize like I'm just not going to get a chorus, right? I'm not going to get that traditional chorus. So let's just lean into what we have here. I could bob my head to this one though. I really enjoyed it. The final, I guess, verse, if you call it, was a bit chorusy. It was good enough for me where it was, giving me kind of that catchiness that I was leaning into. Another short song, under 2 minutes, but I liked Chains to Spare a lot.
Yeah, this one ends sooner than you think, but it does not disappoint by doing so because it gives you so much in the short amount of time that you have with this track. I think this is an amazing sound through and through from front to back on this one. It definitely was a major connection with me. So this is my connection song with Lagwagon. It hits the notes that I want to hear throughout the track. So I was a happy individual when it comes to Change to Spare. I'll tell you that much. This song was starting to turn me into a Lagwagon fan. I will come out and say it. Like, this was one of the turning points of this album, and it was purely just the amazing music on this one. So I was a huge fan of this track, Steve.
Nice. I also am turning at this point in time, but I think I might get turned even more by this next one. But I think it's your turn to kick it off.
Yeah. So this next one's Train. It has nothing to do. This isn't even a joke. It has nothing to do with the band Train.
Sister.
No, don't do
No,
that.
no, don't do that.
Are you a fan of that band?
It's funny. I made this joke. It was like, I think it was, well, it must have been like 10 or 12 years ago. I made some joke on Facebook or somewhere on socials, or maybe it was even in text. I'm like, yeah, now that I'm like 30 or 35 or something, like, I guess I just like Train now. And our buddy Steve Kelly was like, fuck no, don't you ever fucking say that. Train is terrible. But I do kind of like Train. I think it's the Howard Stern factor. Anybody who goes on Stern and is good and they're like down to earth dudes, it's not all that, but I don't think there's a Train song that I don't like, but I'm not going to buy a ticket to see Train in concert. Does that answer your question?
You want to meet Virginia? Is that what you want to do?
I listen to that song. It's on pop. Like, Train's all over pop rocks. They have so many of these songs. Drops of Jupiter, Meet Virginia, Soul Sister. Like, that's a million ways to say goodbye. There's so many songs they have.
I think their song makes you feel sick in the stomach.
You don't like Train?
No, I don't like any of their songs, but I do know that they are probably talented musicians, and he is probably considered a talented vocalist. And if he sang a song that I actually liked, I bet he would do a pretty good job at it. So I won't take that away from him. But in terms of
they were the house band for Howard Stern's big birthday show, so they did a lot of classic songs with other bands.
Listen, anything when you're live and, obviously on Howard Stern, but if you're partying, having a good time, there's a lot of music, Steve, that sounds better than what it actually is. Guaranteed. If I had a live party with a bunch of friends and you booked Train for that party and they sang, I think I would be okay with that.
Yeah, you'd have a good time.
Yeah, of course. But this has nothing to do with that at all. So just forget about all that. You probably have fast forwarded through that whole conversation.
When are they going to be done talking about fucking Train?
Listen, I mean, that's the show, right? If you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. But my first note here is this band would be so much fun to see live. Steve, I know you said you may have seen them live. I want to see this band live. I want to see these songs live. Train was like, man, this would be great if I could be in a concert and hear this band do this one and all the other ones I've heard so far in a live concert setting. So I'm all for the next opportunity I get to see them. It's that low-key intro into that drum roll that kicks off what I think is a mixed tempo. So when I say mixed, it like changes here and there, multi-tempoed banger with a chorus that I underline. This one, to me, Steve, does have a chorus that I absolutely adore. Like, it is so good. It's melodic, it's memorable, it just, man, like this song turned up the amperage when you get to that chorus and it never comes back. So tell me this song does not get you hyped up when you listen to it.
This is a very good song. And there is a section that is repeated 2 times. So if you're calling that the chorus, I will give that to you. It is repeated twice. It could potentially be a chorus. And, you know, I've kind of been waiting for a song, not necessarily to be like slow tempoed, but maybe not necessarily like turbocharged like most of their songs are. And I think this one is kind of it. There's a slower, calmer intro. And even when they bust in, it's not that insane kind of, you know, double time real fast. There are a handful of, again, they do a lot of tempo shifts, and they do have this thing where they use the drums and the guitars to kind of make it sound like a train that's like chugging along kind of sound. But I think that this one like really gets you going. And again, I had started this off by saying if there's one that kind of turns it around for me, I think it might be Train. Maybe not the one before, but both very good.
I think this one reinforces my correct decision in the previous song. Like, it's like, yeah, you were right. Like, you might have been not as right as you thought you were, because you're now even more right than you were before. So
wow,
I'm with you.
I am lost on what you're just saying, but I'm just going to keep going.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. It reaffirms my decision. We'll put it that
He didn't just say what they think he did he?
How about this Hurry Up and Wait?
Hurry Up and Wait. All right, we have a track that's 25 seconds. And I thought this 25-second track was genius. Well, I mean, maybe not genius, but it's hilarious. It's on the road reality song, which I super appreciate. I'm gonna speak the lyrics here. It's time to get up and stress out. We're heading for another town. We're never gonna make sound check, and I can't even take a shit. No shower, shaving, or coffee. I can't fucking brush my teeth. Come on, we're already late, man. Let's go. Hurry up and wait. I mean, if that's not a fun punk song to make me think of like them touring on a Warped Tour or a cross country thing, I don't know what is. I really enjoyed this less than 30-second track.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun, fast-paced song. There's humor to it. Melodically, I'll take it or leave it, but I'm with you on the cleverness of it for sure. So
clever, boys, clever.
You can look. That was a quick one, so go ahead and take the next one, because that wasn't fair to man Steve.
It's okay. We can keep coming back and forth.
Go ahead.
All right. Everything Turns Gray is the next one. So I don't know too much about the band Agent Orange. This is a cover. It's an Agent Orange cover. Again, do you know Agent Orange?
I do not.
Yeah, I don't either. I did a quick search. Apparently they're kind of one of the first bands to like mix punk and surf music. And I kind of totally get that listening to this, that like the surf vibe that comes out of this. I think this is one of the more catchy songs on the entire album. And I don't know who wrote it or whatever. There may actually be a chorus here. It's only a couple of lines. But I thought this one sounded great. And I think that this one is, even though it's a cover, one that they're quite known for. And I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, this was another amazing track. You know, cover or not, it hit all the right chords for me. The riff, the ascending and descending chord scales. Like I love that. It's always a favorite when I hear that happen in the right way. The guitar solo I thought was amazing. The the surf vibe, you mentioned it. I heard it. I didn't even know this was a cover for Agent Orange, but you hear that right away. It wasn't like that surf sound. It wasn't like it wasn't like a Pulp Fiction soundtrack song, but it was there, and I'm like, is that a surf vibe or am I just going nuts? But it was there, and that obviously just kind of solidifies that what you said. So I feel good about my decision to say that, and I think that's all I have here. This is a great track, though. I think it's very enjoyable. The melody, and it's different. So now, in hindsight, thinking back, like it makes sense that it's a cover because it's not necessarily their style, but they're able to retrofit it into what Lagwagon kind of sounds like with the flair of whatever this Agent Orange band is. So I think it's a great mesh of the two worlds.
All right, well, this is a Taylor Swift song next. It's called Love Story.
Yeah,
I'll let you take
no,
this one.
it's not at all. But she obviously is a big fan of Lagwagon. Little known fact.
I mean, she name checked Starting Line. Maybe she likes Lagwagon too.
Sure, ask her. I don't know. This is yet another enjoyable melody, Steve, on this album, and we're getting into the latter half of the album itself. So this is the deciding factor. Like, can they keep the hits going as we move into the latter part of this album of songs? And I do feel like the answer so far is yes. The melody here to me is super enjoyable. The pick scrape, it's there. Listen to it. If you haven't heard it, listen to it again. You gotta love the pick scrape. I'm always there for it. That lower key riff is great to hear. I don't know if they've necessarily done that before, but it works. I think that transitioning into that higher energy sound from that lower key sound is definitely a great point. And then, guys, I mean, the vocals here continue to rock. Like, I think he really knocks it out of the park here with the vocals, the melody, and that middle part specifically in the song. I thought was fantastic, and the end part. And the reason why I like that end part is he says maybe someday you'll stop, and the song stops abruptly, and I thought that was pretty clever. So total package once again.
Yeah, a little bit of trickery on this one. There's like a slow intro. I kind of like when bands do that. They're like, oh, you're going to get a slow song. And they're like, nah, pick it right back up. But then at the end, that part that you're talking about, that last verse, if you will, it ends similar to how it starts, kind of a little slow. And in the middle, man, this kind of sounds very much like the Ataris. I hear a lot of the Ataris in Lagwagon, and I looked it up, and they did tour together. I guess they're probably friends. Maybe they've influenced each other a lot, but just kind of that old school, I don't know, pop punky vibe. I get the same kind of thing. I thought this one was pretty good. It didn't blow me away. I enjoyed it. I think the front and the back were my favorites, but you liked the middle, so I guess there's something for everybody.
For sure. For sure. What about the next one?
Yeah, this leads us to Messengers. I really liked this song a lot. Again, if I'm dialing vibes to it, this one gave me some punchline vibes. I love the short bursts of vocals in this one. I feel like a lot of this album have been they're stories, they're long sentences, they're like one line that bleeds into the next line that they don't rhyme or anything like that. And to hear some of these just kind of short, not like a day late, a buck short, but just those short bursts of vocals. I really liked it a lot. I think the melody of this one kind of just did it for me, and I believe this one was a single. Yeah, I think this one was a single, and it was one of their more popular ones. So that's for a reason. I liked it a lot.
You mentioned a day late, a buck short, like that, but that's spot on. I mean, you said it's not like that, but it's like that. It's like that in a lot of ways. I mean, you think about why you love that song, Damn It, so much. Obviously, it's iconic and anthemic in a lot of ways. This song is not that, but the short burst lyrical application, it's easy to sing. It's fun to sing. It's easy to listen to. It's memorable. Like they do all that here. So that's the sticking point for me too, is that I'm always a fan of this. Like I thought probably if you go back and listen to every single episode that we've done, and there's bands that do this short burst lyrical method, I've probably made a note that it's a song that I enjoy in a lot of ways. I'm sure there's exceptions, but for the most part, that's not the case. So I'm here for this. I don't know about the music though. Like I feel like it's kind of middle of the road in a lot of ways. I didn't love this one through and through, but that short burst lyrical definitely saved it. So I think that's why it's middle of the road. I would have ranked it a little bit lower if it didn't have that. If it was just a regular quote unquote song, just middle of the road song. But this one kicked it up a few notches because of that. So I'm glad you mentioned that because that was a big thing for me too.
Fantastic. On the same page. The kids are all right, or maybe they're all wrong.
So this came out before The Offspring said the kids aren't all right, correct?
Not really.
Really? Well, that was Ixnay on the Ombre.
No, that was Americana. So I actually I found
Really?
Yeah, I found that I don't know who wrote it, but I found this on the internet. It says it seems like Joey Cape got the idea to bastardize the title of the famous Who song, "The Kids Are All Right," and make it about the kids not being all right. Too bad the Offspring did like the same thing the same year, and it became a hit. I think that Offspring album came out like weeks before this album.
Why did I think it was Ixnay on the Ombre? What was on that song? What was on
I don't know that Ixnay had any real hits, did it?
Gone Away?
Gone Away, okay. But Americana had Kids Aren't All Right, and it had the first, silly, so Pretty Fly for a White Guy, right?
Okay, my timelines are sometimes messed up. Usually they're right, but this time I will give it to you. Yeah. So okay, so that's all just kind of parodying the that Who song. Then all these people are doing that.
I guess it's the concept. I mean, I don't give a shit about the Who. I didn't know that, but
Not the song,
I
but
love
the
that
title.
Offspring. I love that Offspring song.
I'm not a big Who fan either. I'm really not.
I don't give a shit.
There's people that just go crazy for that music, and I don't understand. Maybe they say that about us. I don't know. Maybe
probably
they
our
say that
parents.
about our music.
Oh yeah, there's definitely people that are like, "Oh, fucking Blink-182 is so stupid."
I mean, we're parents, so I mean, what about our music for our kids?
I mean, my daughter thinks the music I listen to probably sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. Your daughter seems to be more tolerable of the music versus maybe some other kids.
I mean, but she's not enjoying it. There's being tolerant, and then there's wanting to hear it.
With an exception of a couple, right? We have to give her some credit. Credit's due, for sure.
A few. But this is called "The Kids Are All Wrong."
Yeah, the kids are all wrong. I did find myself swaying to this one, Steve. This is a short one, right? This is about a minute 6.
107.
So, yeah, I don't know. I found myself kind of just vibing with this one, but I didn't have much to say about it. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a piano, like a slow piano intro into a ballad. Like I want to hear more of this from them. Like, give me different looks. Give me a ballad. Dude, this is a minute 7. I love it. I thought it was fantastic. I wanted to hear more of this. I enjoyed it a lot. But there's not much for me to say on top of that because it's a short song.
Here's what I'll say. And I forgot, I should have said this to begin with. I think that this is a great intro track for the next song. Like it seems like it's not an intro track to the next song, but it could be if you listen to it back to back because it does flow. There are some things that could connect. And if you're done talking about the kids are all wrong, can we talk about the next song, Steve?
May 16. Yeah, sure. You seem excited. Why don't you go ahead?
I was. So, number one, I did some research, and I'm sure this is very well known for anybody out there that really loves this band. But May 16th is Lagwagon Day. Little known fact, or a very well known fact, depending on who you are. I think there's a couple different reasons why it's Lagwagon Day, but the first one I think is the better one. Apparently, it's it's not like a super like high High energy story. It's actually, some say was a sad story. It's about, that the guy singing the song, I don't know if it's the lead singer or whoever wrote the song, not getting invited to his friend's wedding at all. So his friend had a wedding. He wasn't invited. I think there was more to the story about how he woke up from a potential one night stand only to find out that his friends were
Look
celebrating.
out the window and see like the thing in the park, right?
Mhm.
I think I read that too.
That's sad. That's sad because, why? What's you feel left out. You feel a lot of things. And so the sentiment definitely makes you feel a certain way, but I'll tell you what, bro, this opening just blew me away. Like this, whew, man, like this song. This is track 11 of 12, Steve. And right now we're usually the types that are like, well, album song, they're just winding down. It is what it is. This is not the case. And first of all, I want to preface this by saying I didn't check the Spotify list of most popular Lagwagon songs prior to doing this exercise. I did not do that. So this song, without looking at what song had potentially the most streams, I think you know what I'm getting at. This one just smacked me right across the face. This might be one of the strongest songs on this particular album to me, from every different aspect of building a song, musically, lyrically, tempo, energy, everything that I always say is important in a song. The song has it. I could listen to this one like a million times in a row, never get tired of it. And how about those notes at the beginning, like that transition into that drum roll? Like, man, there's so many great transitions, so many memorable moments here. This is the total package. I'm over the moon about this May 16th song. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, this is by far. You mentioned like not looking into it,
I
but this is
didn't.
by far the most popular Lagwagon song, at least according to the streaming services, right? So
Right.
this is over 40 million streams. Not, most of the rest of this album has like a million and underneath a million. And the next most popular Lagwagon song is 17 million. So it is far and away. And so you mentioned at the beginning of this Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Do you know this song from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2? Because that's where it's from.
I don't know, and I don't know. Did I ever admit on the show that I really didn't play that game a lot?
I didn't really play that either. I played Cool Borders. Cool Borders 2. That was my jam. Snowboarding game.
I had SSX Tricky. That's what I played.
I think I might have played that one too. So somehow the two of us were just into snowboarding more than skateboarding. I don't know how that
I suppose.
happens.
I don't know.
Even though we like punk music and pop punk music. Whatever.
I mean, that's punk too, isn't it?
I think
It's
is.
extreme. It's X Games. It all kind of ties together.
Absolutely. I listen. I didn't recognize the song when I listened to it. Obviously, it is the most popular Lagwagon song by far. But I don't have that many things to say. I'm glad that you had those shining things to say. I will just say that there were really cool musical patterns with the drums and the guitars throughout this song. I really like the false ending, and they kind of come back in with some really cool
Yes.
instrumentals. I feel like this song is somewhat of a total package. I'm not going to say it's my favorite song on this record. We'll have to wait until we get to that section of our show. But I thought it was very strong, and it is relatively rare to see such a strong song at number 11. And I don't know if Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and this involvement, this song with that soundtrack, came before this was released or after. I have no idea where that time frame is. I'd actually be curious to know, did this album come out and then they just stuck the song on the soundtrack, or was this song part of the soundtrack and then they stuck it on the album? Because if that latter thing is the case, then it was smart to put it at the end of the album, because then you got to listen to the whole album before you get to the song that you know and like. So I don't know. I'd be interested to do some more research. I didn't even think about it until right now. But very good track 11 of 12 on this record.
But like the millions and millions and millions of people that played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, I wonder if that did do something to result in the number of streams. This is an amazing song. I can't take that away. But is the nostalgia factor for a lot of people? Oh yeah, what's that Lagwagon song that's on Tony Hawk Pro Skater? I want to listen to that one.
I bet you there's a Tony Hawk Pro Skater multiple Tony Hawk Pro Skater playlists that this song just gets.
Has to be.
Yeah, it gets streamed the shit out of it from those playlists.
Has to be. So, I mean, that's taking nothing away from it.
No, I don't mean to do that at all.
Speculating that could be a reason why. So, man, did we knock it out of the park with May 16th? And how do we finish the album, Steve?
We started with we finished it with Owen Meany, and this song is unlike. So there's no debating this. This song is unlike any other song on this record for sure. It's almost 4 minutes long, which is pretty long for Lagwagon kind of short punky band song. It's the title. It comes from a John Irving novel, a prayer for Owen Meany. I like when this song is a little bit like slower / medium paced, especially since we've had so much fast paced on this. We also get some strings. We get I'm pretty sure it's violin, maybe some other strings included there. It's almost a 4 minute song, and the first 2 minutes are completely instrumental. And when the vocals come in, the pace picks up, the pace comes in. I thought this was a very cool last track of the album. I felt like it was very different. It was very memorable because it's different. And I think that's how you make a successful last song. And I do believe that, again, so if you look on Spotify, there are 26 tracks to this album because they released tracks 13 to 26 were all like bonus tracks, right? From this reissue. They were demos, outtakes, B-sides. The next song, I didn't even listen to it, but it may have been a hidden song on the original, but essentially this is the last song. So I like it when the last song is something different.
I don't think I disagree with any of that. The opening definitely has me in the feelings. Funny that the name of this album is Let's Talk About Feelings. It had me there.
Yeah.
I like that. Look, I think that for a while on this track, I was like, is this just an instrumental track, guys? Is that what this
2 minutes?
Because
that's as long as most of the other songs.
I'm okay with that. Like I was gonna be okay with that. If it was just an instrumental track, I'm like, you know what? This is good. Like I'll listen to this. And the lyrics kicked in. And that's okay too. So I think I'll just mirror everything that you said. It definitely was different. I thought it was still really good, very strong to end the album. Different in a lot of ways, but that's okay. Like I'm glad that they gave us something different at the end that was still something that I could really enjoy musically and every other way that we've already talked about. So I was into this one a lot, especially again the instrumental view of this band for so long. It was nice to be able to enjoy that, but what an end to a great album.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good album. I don't know that I would go great, but I'm glad that I gave it a listen and learned what Lagwagon is all about.
Yeah, no. So you and I we definitely have a divide on this one for sure, but that's okay. Let's see if we have a divide when we get to our next segment, and that's ranking it. So, Steve, we have to rank our top 3 favorites on the album. Let's Talk About Feelings by Lagwagon. Steve, you're up and in order. 3, 2, 1. Let's hear it.
All right, so this may be a little weird because it's a very short song, but I'm actually going to go The Kids Are All Wrong, the 1 minute long ballad. I'm going to give that my number 3 because I need to hear a good ballad in a good punk rock record, and I appreciated they put it in there, even though you called it a prelude to May 11th or May 16th, and I liked it standalone. Number 2 is going to be Train. I thought Train was awesome. That's the song that basically kicked me into gear on this record. But number 1, and again, I don't know what a single is really like in 1998 for Lagwagon, how that was a single. I don't think got radio play or anything like that, but Messengers was my favorite song on this record for sure.
Well, we're going to be a little bit different here. So Everything Turns Gray is my number 3. Number 2 for me was definitively Change Despair. And then number 1 was unquestionably May 16th for all the reasons that I talked about already. So I don't even think it was close. May 16th was out of this world for me.
12 tracks. We each had 3 completely different ones.
I mean, that goes to show a lot of things. We always talk about the fact that when we do end up with that it's a testament to a really great album. Now, you thought your way, I thought my way. I liked it so much, Steve, that I actually went out and purchased the vinyl for this one too.
Look at you, vinyl guy,
Well,
expanding the collection.
look, I mean, tell you what, this month, listening to some of these older albums, I've been sucked in a lot of ways. And this one for sure, like this album is my favorite so far this month for sure. I know we're not doing a ranking of these albums, but this one eclipses, just hit all the right chords for me. So I really want to hear this one. I want to get more familiar with this one on a record format. And I really do feel like I'd like to expand my horizons with Lagwagon a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Haas. That's the one that seems to be the one people talk about a lot. See if I feel the same way about that one, and then continue to go from there. I'm all about it, right? I want to listen to good music, and this is another band that kind of opened my eyes to expanding those horizons to that good music that I definitely missed back when I had every opportunity not to. So
Well,
I
you
don't
got
know how they
9
compare.
studio albums you can listen to. So
I don't know how this one compares, though. I don't think that I can tell you that today. Maybe down the line I can. I would imagine you might be in the same boat.
yeah, I don't have too much. Again, of the 9 albums, this is really the only one I've listened to, and I don't know I don't know any other like singles. I took a look at their set list. Do you want to do a set list game?
Sure.
Yeah, you can play it. So we took a look at their Going South 2025 tour. Looks like they were touring South America, and the set list that I have pulled up was from Sao Paulo, Brazil, October of 2025. They must have been the headliner. They did 23 songs that night, and I'm curious how many you think they played from this record out of 9 studio albums.
4.
No, more than that.
6.
5. Yeah, you were almost too high. 5. Yeah. They played 5 songs. And now it's the time where you're going to guess.
I'd say May 16th for sure.
Yes.
I would say Messengers.
Correct.
For sure.
That's 2.
I would say would they have done the cover? I'm gonna go for it. Everything Turns Gray.
Yep, I was gonna give it to you anyway, just because you debated it.
So that's 3. 2 more, huh?
Yeah. One I think you'll get. The other one maybe not.
I think they did After You, My Friend.
Yep, that's the one I thought you'd get.
And then maybe they did. I don't know. Leave the Light On?
Nope, that's your first X.
I think I'm going to do all right. The Kids Are All Wrong.
That's correct. You got it. They actually closed the show with Messengers, The Kids Are All Wrong, May 16th, which is 3 songs in a row from this record.
The intro into May 16th is The Kids Are All Wrong.
That is correct. They did that. Mm-hmm. It would have been interesting if they did Oh and Meanie after that and just closed the show like they closed the record. But that was cool. They did. Wait, why does it say 4 songs? It's 5 songs.
Uh-oh.
This thing is lying to me. No. I just counted them out for you. Mm-hmm. Those are correct. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of these songs is on another album as well. You know the thing where they say how many songs from the album were played? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but it's wrong. It says 4, but it was definitely 5.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm looking at it. I see it. So it sounds like I will definitely be celebrating May 16th. You take it or leave it. You will be, but you won't be early to the party. I'll be there early. I'll be helping to set up.
My birthday is May 5th. I'll be still doing that.
We should have a Lagwagon themed birthday party for you.
Interesting. I will consider that.
What do you think?
I like it.
I don't know what that is, but we will figure that out when the time comes. Steve, we did it. Talked about Lagwagon. I really, once again, am enjoying talking about old school albums, and I think we might still have another one still in the on deck, we'll call it, right? One
We'll
more
see.
left
We'll
to
see what we
go.
got in the hopper. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you guys would love to know. We can't tell you because that wouldn't be fair, but we definitely want you to stay tuned for that because will we have something just as good as this? Will we feel differently about it? We'll see. Time will tell. Definitely tune in. And hey, everybody, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode of HSNE Goes Old School. If you did, we'd love for you to let us know about it. If you have Apple Podcasts, that's a great way for you to give us a written review. Let us know what you think about this show or the show in general. Give us a 5-star review if you really enjoyed it. And also, hey, don't forget about our shop. We have some really awesome swag on there, shirts, cups, hats, amongst other things that you can choose with our High School Never End logo or variations of it. Go check that out. You can get there via our hub. That is simply put, www.hsnepod.com.
Yep. Follow us on all the social things. You can support the show for free and join our Discord server. Go to hsnepod.com and you can find that link, or you can support the show and subscribe to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/HSNEpod. Get bonus content every single month. We certainly appreciate our patrons, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook at HSNEpod. High School Never Ends Goes Old School continues next week with an all-new episode. Until then, keep on rocking your old school dad bods, throw up your old school rock hands, and blast the old school pop punk.
It's Dragon Wagon.